Calbert, I guess as someone who grew up in Indiana, was recruited by Bob Knight, played for Bob Knight, I recognize the answer to this could probably go on for hours, but how would you explain to someone not just who he was as a coach, but almost, I guess, as a persona or as a cultural force in this state in the 1980s, the 1990s, at the time that you were growing up and then playing for him?
Oh, larger than life. Everybody wanted to play for Coach Knight and play for their state back when I was growing up, and to have an opportunity to play for the man and to be recruited by him, and I think that's it's unbelievable. I mean that was during that time. It was all about playing for your home state and playing for your home school, and having Coach Knight coach you that was the dream came true for me, and I'm glad it happened.
Calbert, I've spoken to a lot of former Indiana players and assistant coaches over the years, and the one common theme is the loyalty that ex-players and ex-coaches show to Coach Knight. When did you start to feel the magnetism of that loyalty yourself, and how's it kind of followed you through your life and your life experiences, some of the lessons that he imparted to you over his time?
It probably started, obviously my freshman year was kind of rough because, you're trying to get to understand how the man operates. He pushes you so hard, not so much the physical part, but the mental part, trying to get you to understand how this game works and how to compete at a high level, and how to be extremely prepared. And then once I finally got it, it's amazing how much respect and admiration he has for you because you're trying to do what he wants you to do. And he knows that you want to win. He knows that you want to compete at the highest level and perform at the highest level for him and for the university and for the program. And that's when I started to feel it. And it got to the point to where, all he had to do was tell me, hey, Cal, you're not playing at your best right at this particular moment. You need to pick it up. And there were some times too when he went fire and brimstone on me too sometimes. So, but that's his coach. He wants to win really extremely bad, and but he wants you to feel that way too. And he's all about team and what it's all about to be to win as a team and accomplish the same goal. And that was great. That's what's great about Coach.
Hey, Cal. Is there a moment, whether it be a game or practice, where Knight kind of really dove into some details and you just kind of as a player went, wow, this guy
freshman year is like, because, with our motion offense, it was all conceptual. He would talk about, hey, if the big is up, you set it, and you're down, he's going to set a down screen for you. If he's down low at the post, he's going to set a back screen. If he's on the wing and you're at the top, he's going to set a flare screen for you. And I'm like, I'm over there just like, stuff is just, smoke coming out of my ears because you're trying to understand that. And he just, it's not like he throws you into it. He'll show you the concepts, playing 2-on-2, 3-on-3, 4-on-4. But at the same time, then you got to try and make it work when you play 5-on-5 and just stuff like that. And then the defensive concepts on how to be on our help and how we help on the weak side and all those stuff is like, it was just like, wow, this stuff is, how's this stuff going to work? But then at the same time, you see it work. Once you understand it and see how it works, I mean, it works miracles. I just think Coach is one of the smartest, coaches I've ever been around. And I think, what he taught back then, was he was ahead of his time.
Yeah. Hey, Calbert, have you ever been able to figure out what about your personality and his personality meshed so well to allow you to become the player that you did?
My mother. So my mother, I would tell people that my mother was probably more of a disciplinarian than he was. So it kind of made it a little bit easier. I always tried to be like, I was one of those guys. Like I was very competitive, but at the same time, if you yelled at me or tell me something or said something to me, or you're not doing such and such and such, I said, okay, I'll show you. I'm going to show you. And then once I show him, he'll go over there and sit right down and shut up. So that's just, that's the type of relationship we had. And I think he had that type of relationship with all his players. If you, like I said, if you do what he asked you to do, like I said, he'll shut up.
Calbert, you've kind of alluded to it a few times, but the approach that Bob Knight took, it seemed to be more of a teacher than a coach. The conversations I've had with either Pat Graham or Todd Leary or Brian Evans, everybody has their 4 years of notebooks where they took notes and all of that. So how much of that is just that sticks with you and you're able to use today?
Huge. I still have my notebook up in my office right now. It's on the shelf, so it's all about teaching the concept, how the game works. I think sometimes a lot of players, they don't understand how the game works. They just want the ball in their hands and they just want to tell everybody to get out the way. But you got to know how the game works because you got 4 of the guys out there on the floor. And so he was very, very detailed in teaching us how to play on the offensive side of the ball and the defensive side of the ball, special situations, all that stuff, prepare for teams that came in here. It got to the point. Another thing that was in reference to preparing for teams, there's so much video involved and this certain play, this is what this player is going to do. And then it got to a certain point to where when you got out there on the floor and you saw the play, them call a certain play, you knew exactly what they were going to run because we were so prepared. And that's what separated the coach from a lot of coaches, from a lot of other coaches.
Calbert, is there anything particular of Coach Knight's style or his persona that you have seen in yourself carry over as you've made your way to the sidelines at this point in your career now? Yeah,
just a little bit, the competitiveness. Being competitive and sometimes, to a certain degree, I have to go fire and brimstone on guys, just to get them to understand. But at the same time, you gotta give them that little tough love. But also at the same time, you gotta put your arm around them. And Coach did that as well. His idea of putting his arm around you was like he'd hit you in the back of the head, and he's got his national championship ring, and the national championship he hits the back of the head and hurts. But that was his idea of of love. So. Just the competitive fire every now and then that I show, and I just try to convey to the other guys, this is what you got to do to win. You got to have that competitive fire and competitive spirit in order to be successful.
Yeah, Coach Woodson talked about just his impact off the court outside of basketball too. What was maybe the number one thing for you, not even on the court, but just the way that Coach Knight impacted? That
he does things for people that really that most people around in the public don't really see or realize or know. The one thing he's going to be tough on you. He's going to push you. He's going to make you not like him sometimes. But at the end of the day, when you graduate and even when you graduate, go off and do your own thing, he'll do anything for you. You pick up the phone and give him a call. He's going to pick it up and he's going to do whatever you need. That's just the type of person he's always been. And a lot of people didn't really see that. But there's a lot of people in this. He's touched a lot of lives in the time he was on this earth.
Yeah, Calbert. Mike talked about how in recent years it was kind of bittersweet to have Bob there because he couldn't necessarily talk to him like he might have a couple years ago about coaching, about things he saw. Do you miss that too? I mean, is there times where now you could think of as in kind of this phase of your career where, I would have loved his advice on this thing or look to him for that?
Oh, without question, no doubt. I mean, you always, sometimes you can get stuck as a coach, or you might get stuck in life. Sometimes it's good to have someone that's experienced what he's experienced, and that can help you, along your way. He's a big time mentor to me, and not only just a coach. And like I said, he's been there, done that, and sometimes I was able to pick up the phone and give him a call if I did have some trouble. But now, in this certain situation, I'm sure he's in a better place. Obviously, yeah, you definitely would you definitely miss out on the advice that he was able to give you.
I asked Mike this too, but just, we found out the news yesterday evening. Just when and how did you hear the news, and just what's the last day been like for you since?
It was weird because I didn't hear until after our practice yesterday. So I started getting all these. I got like a million texts, and all of a sudden I started to hear about Coach, and I'm like, what the heck is And so then all of a sudden I just look, and then I put a call in, and I was like, wow, yeah, it kind of hit me kind of hard at first because obviously I know he was 83, but you still think that. In the back of your mind, he was taken too soon. But at the end of the day, that's life. Time is undefeated, and we're all going to be there at some point. So, but I know he lived a nice, full life, and he had people around him that loved him, and You know, and he was, like I said, he's one of the greatest coaches I've ever been around, and you know, the world lost a great man today or yesterday.
Calbert, I know you and Coach Woodson, and of course all the players that played under Bob Knight, you know, have your relationship with him. But what do you think it was about him that really garnered the respect for a lot of people that didn't play under him or coach with him?
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
What do you think it was about Bob Knight that garnered the respect from people that didn't play under him like you did?
Oh, well, I mean, just his accomplishments, and you know, obviously what he's done on the basketball floor. Obviously, when you're in business, any type of business, sport, you don't, you know, anything of that nature, you're always going to, if you do your job well, people are going to respect that. And you know, I think he did his job really, really well, and people respect that. So I think that's one of the things that he's been able to do, and I think it's great. I mean, like I said, you know, you guys are in your field. I bet I'm sure you guys are the tops of your field. So I got a lot of respect for you because you're doing your job to the best of your ability. So I think that's what, you know, the impact Coach Knight has had on a lot of people.